Hello, me. It's me. How are you? I've got those lights on. I don't think it makes a big difference. I've got some new pens, so I can write on the board today. I've got my laptop off to the side, which will form the YouTube bit body, and that I'm going to use as a guide. Welcome to Being God number, let's use a nice blue pen, number 11, and today is the 11th of July, is it? I don't know. Anyway, so Being God number 11. I can come across as quite angry and aggressive. I'm very mindful of this, and as I've said before, and I just want to qualify some things. At the moment, this is not 100% comfortable for me. I understand that, in the sense of talking, and Is it doubt? No, it's that idea of the biggest concern that I have above any other is that I give you something that's not true to my heart and something that's potentially wrong. I mean, I accept mistakes, I accept error, but this is really, I was very aware of the need for honesty and clarity and authenticity in what I say and do. And that's close to my heart in the sense of a state of being, integrity and everything else. My journey from inception to here, incarnation to here, first incarnation, it's been a big journey, a long journey, very involved, lots and lots of events, weird events, from day one. But I can say, quite honestly, ever since I was probably, 12 possibly, I've always understood the nature of sovereign power in relation to things that other people fear. This notion of supernatural and evil and everything else. Every aspect of creation, just take this into your heart. Every aspect of creation is from source. It is a divine creation. And at its heart, once fear is removed, it's in line with truth. The deception for one or the other is key to the notion of separation. It's the first division. When in truth, there is no division. Ever. It's only in perception. I've just started, probably because of what I put on yesterday, in the sense of a YouTube video. In my feed, I've had something come up on Madame Blavatsky, and I've never read into Blavatsky a great deal. Never purchased any of her books, and have never researched or read discussions of her beliefs. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that her thoughts and beliefs are in line with mine, because truth isn't old. Truth is immortal and everlasting. It's just the notion of fear. It's like, how can this bloke, body, mind, right on us down, come in front of me and say that he's God? And it's because I understand in the sense of I can picture to create a reality that allows me to perceive source delivering to self the experiences of difference based on perspective. So I'm slightly off track here, it's just caught me. So I'm going to go back. I do this a lot. Butterfly. Butterfly. Flower to flower to flower. Oh, flower. Oh, and why not? That's what flowers are for. To be appreciated. Yeah? Look at the wonder. Witness the wonder in creation. Anyway. So what I was going to do was to look at the fourth dimension and how it might be. The notion of change in reality, and I just want to say something about that. Excuse me. And the challenge, as I've said before, the challenge is constant. The challenge is apparent in every moment. But let's look at fourth dimension first. Yeah, we'll look at the fourth dimension. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing from one day to the next. If I appear arrogant, it's not arrogance. I say, I'm right and you're wrong. Is it arrogant? Is it arrogance when it's just simple truth? It's just straight, it's just stated, shared, spoken, with conviction, passion, and unwavering belief. Yeah, it's just simple. I've no desire to come across as arrogant. I would much rather embrace humility and observe. That's the fun. Yeah? Nothing to prove, because I'm everything. So, fourth dimension. How do you get the fourth dimension? Well, think about how dimensions are created. If we think about space in the sense of our external reference, I've done this in a video about 4 years ago when I was talking about creation, the first light. And we have a point of reference. Now, to get this point of reference, as I said the other day, the hardest thing to do is you can have a burst of light, it goes out in all directions, but when that pulse has gone, based on that original focus, yeah, think of God mind, right? Focus, let's focus on there, this invisible point that no, it's not there, it's not there, it's there. It's there, that's where it is. And in that point we begin to see and create. And as we create, it appears. Yeah? So, as within, so without. So the hardest thing to do initially was for this light to not just go, and then effectively the photons, that element of charge, which is what? It's a focus to disturb, to create that movement, isn't it? Yeah? So that goes out, but what we have to do is we have to go, well, we want you to go like that, like that, like that, until eventually it's like that. And then what you've got is you've got a single point of reference that is visible over passing moments, which is what we think of as time. It's only when we can see change and we can reference change that we can establish the perception of passing moments equating a timeline. Okay? Alright, so there for me. Alright, big deal that one. So that's the first thing. Once we've done that, good stuff there. So once we've done that, oh, look at all these colours, wow. Colours. Look at these. Anyway, so once we've done that, and if we can do that, we can do that. And then the distance between there and there is all of these, lots of them, infinite number joined together. Alright, so that actually gives us a two-dimensional reference, doesn't it? If we think of the axis. Yeah? So we've got a point in space. We've got another point in space. We join them. Yeah. Now for the third dimension, we've got that there, we've got that there. Second dimension. We've got that. So there's your two-dimensional reference, three-dimensional reference, and that comes down to there, doesn't it? So the fourth dimension, if we've got nothing in the external, is to go into the internal. So is that like the fourth dimension, or is it the zero dimension? I don't know. Could be anything from moment to moment, because this is going to lead on to this idea of existing in a divine perception, the heavenly perception. Okay? So where were we? Fourth dimension. So the fourth dimension is an inverted dimension, yeah? But in that inverted dimension, is there not then multiple dimensions just the same? So, what we have then, people talk about fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh dimensions, eighth dimensions. When we're talking about frequency, we're just talking about a line that varies from here to here, onward. Yeah. That's frequency. Is frequency related to dimension? If you want to know the secrets of the universe, think of, what was it? Energy, frequency, vibration. Okay. So here, zero energy, zero frequency, zero vibration. And as it goes up, we go through the visible band that we have, and it continues on past that through all the different X-rays and different types of rays there are, rays, yeah, waves. And then we have a third dimensional reference where we have a different perception of frequency. So if we maintain the dimensional reference, but we change, or more correctly, expand the frequency perception range, it's not a change in dimension. But from the point of view of perspective, we can elevate to beyond what's currently visible within the 3-dimension, which could lead to the assumption that we're in a different dimension. And all we're talking about is this single perceptive space in which we've created 3-dimensional referencing, yeah, with variable frequencies. Because the full frequency range is within. So if we think of water, water is fluid, yeah, it's normal. When it's very cold, when everything slows down, it becomes ice. When it goes very fast, it goes from water to steam. Excuse me. Rises and seemingly disappears. Its state has changed, but it's still here, but its form is variable. But it's fixed within those three states, based on our known perceptions. Yeah. But at some point, you'll get a breakdown of bonds. We know this happens as things change, become other things, transform. Yeah. So, I don't like to think of variable dimension referencing it in the sense of 4th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th, and God knows what else. But we could talk about octaves in the sense of 8 steps, like sound, you know, that makes it referenceable. And then we can say, well, okay, we've got this octave and that octave and that octave and that octave. And once we get up to a certain frequency, there would be a realization of the true nature and identity as such, can we call it that, of who you are. Does that all make sense? Is that all understandable? Yes. So, with regards to changing reality, again, a lot of people, I've mentioned this over a couple of days, a lot of people have talked about manifestation. You know, everyone's going on about manifestation. Why is everyone going on about manifestation? Because it's popular and it gets views in audiences. I do a lot of YouTube and see where people's heads are. But what does it suggest? Well, it's that little trilogy, isn't it? Health, wealth, and happiness. Yeah. Health. You can do this that way, easy peasy. Wealth. Wow. That's both subjective and objective. Objective and subjective. It's very personal, isn't it? Huh? Manifestation, as I've said before, illustrates lack, a perception of lack. And yet, at the same time, the truth is that creation is instantaneous. Why would creation be instantaneous in a three-dimensional world where people like human beings display such vile and unharmonious tendencies in behaviour, in thought, in word, and in deed. Because as the single supreme being per se, it's this idea of going to heaven. Can you create selves and go to heaven? Yeah, you can have whatever you like. In fact, right now, right here in this spot, why couldn't there just be a wall coming down here that runs right through the middle of me? There's someone's window, and that's the inside, that's the outside. And I'm standing here in the middle of it. Is that possible? Of course it is. Because it can all be just of a different frequency. Yeah, this is formed in this way, based on the perceptions, understandings, and just the workings, which are apparent by being, being in and of. And this is what we get once we're aware of self. Things change. The reality changes. The illusion diminishes. So as a sovereign being with a bias for all things harmonious and loving, for want of a better word, what do? Well, you go through heaven observing heavenly creation. And when you think of this, that, or the other, then it comes to you, appears before you, or you'll get it very soon. But it's instant, very soon. So, changing reality. What's a different approach to changing reality then, if that's the best way to go? Well, that's to, instead of looking to change everything that's outside of you, why don't you change things that are within you? Because if your viewpoint from here is quite negative, yeah, that's you looking. Look at that, I'm looking over there, it looks pretty shit. So what do? Yeah? Look at the positive instead. If you do that, this doesn't bother you. Because you can't see it. You're not looking at it. Interesting. Yeah? This is the moment. This is the moment where you choose to engage as a human. Oh my God, what's going on? What? Oh my God. Woo, 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 woo. Firing off. Memories, fucking sharing shit. Bonding. Hey, I'm getting on one with you with this. Yeah. Similar experiences. Oh my God. Da, 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 da. Drama. Bollocks. So, from a divine perspective, it's like, oh, next, or just can't be asked for that. So it's gone, and we're looking over here. That's the choice in the moment, everyday cycle. Boff, 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 boff. And the more you find peace and quiet, the more you'll find that historical debris in the form of untransmuted energy is going to come to the fore in the sense of your perceptive field to be transmuted. You have to look at it, understand, think about it, reference it, yeah, and say, why was it like that? Why did I think that? Why did they do that? Look at every possible angle in the sense of finding balance in your perception. I can see why they did that and thought that. I can see how and why I reacted like that. Yeah? I forgive myself, I forgive them, I let everything go. It's done, it's a lesson learned, it's good. Yeah, this is how this goes on. This is how this happens. This is what happens when you do this. Yeah? And then it's gone. And then slowly you'll find that the amount of peace and quiet that you actually experience increases, because the amount of energetic baggage that comes through for your awareness to be dealt with, it just comes down to nothing. And constantly, all the while, synchronicities are increasing. Things for your highest good are increasing in the sense of, oh wow, I'm aware of that now. So when you start looking for this, you see more of it. To search for good is to see good. When we see good and only good, then we're no longer separated, are we? We're no longer fearful. The Pope, the Church, religion, lies, liars, cheaters, vain, silly, ignorant children. Your vicar. If your vicar doesn't know the truth, then he's blindly following a false idol. That's the same for everyone. And again, I'm not saying this to piss people off. I'm not saying this to, I was going to say challenge you, but I am saying it to challenge your beliefs, because I want you to wake up. I want everyone to wake up. I'm going to leave the link for the video that I've just watched today. It's very, very in depth in the sense of truth, realization as potential. It talks about the notion of the notion of Christos as a divine principle to be received as an awareness found in your perceptive field in this incarnation, this expression of divine love in form, in a mind body, right on us now, here to work through the shit, yeah, go through all the heartache from day one, all the way through every instance, near death, loss, tragedy, rejection, heartache, error, until I get to here and I find the same perceptions, the same love, the same openness, the same ability to see truth. No variation. Just over 2,000 years ago, Joshua Ben Joseph, the author of this book, which was a channeled book, yeah, I mentioned this before, The Way of Mastery. It's 3 books: The Way of the Heart, The Way of Transformation, The Way of Knowing. Just again as an example of you know this. Look, this is all the way through. Every highlight is every word is important. It is full of it, full of it. And the Blavatsky video again will give you another external reinforcement, not just what I'm sprouting. This is an ancient truth. You are experiencing a modern deception, yeah? And you know the really, really stupid thing is that if I'm saying this now, and if they know now, referencing then, and still, when I say that everything, even the nonsense that they bow to, is created by me, and they still haven't got the nous and common sense and awareness to spark themselves to the realization that they are dealing with a fabrication of God. And even that, after all this time, the multiple times that this has happened, you're still pissing about. Such a nonsense. How vain, how egoic, ridiculous. Still, the purpose is to reclaim through remembering. I've claimed that. I can. You can too. Do I know everything? No. Do I know more than I did 50 years ago? Yes. Yeah, I was drawn into alternatives from 11. And I still have the same passion to dive in and find truth. But now, I feel I have sufficient truth to say, whoa, hold on a minute. I need to share this. Look at this. Are you aware of this? That's my position. So it's really hard when there's like, over 8 billion people saying, oh, fuck off, you idiot. When I'm not the idiot. That's the really hard thing. It's hard for you to admit to yourselves that you're wrong and gullible. It's hard for you to admit to yourselves that you did this wrong, that wrong. So the idea of actually saying, well, you've fucked up in your whole life and you're actually God. And it's time for you to take, let's look at the most important things that are going to change your life, your experience here, right? Let's do this now. So what we've got is E-I-G-N-T-Y. Sovereignty. Yeah? That's just key, isn't it? Because without sovereignty, you're not yourself. So in this instance, you have to be brave, you have to be a sovereign being. You have to be self-reliant. What do you think, Chubby? What do you think, Bubby? Yeah? No, you think about it. You sit in peace, allow all the nonsense, dissipates, clears, and then you can ask the question, what do I feel about this? Is it right to chop the head off this baby while I'm in this IDF uniform? It's very sad. That life, which is so precious as a gift, should be viewed in such a way by anyone towards anyone, it is truly an abomination. I'll see Israel fall. Crush. So, and the point is that a host, an army, is here for truth. Very quick to pick up, snowball. Truth snowballs everywhere. Yeah. Lots of people in the pond, looking in the pond, looking at the ripples, throwing the stones, catching the ripples, sharing. This network growing, building of truth. Yeah? Self-reliance. You must be self-reliant. Giving. Why is giving important? Well, let's go from, I'm in Australia, all right? So, the Aboriginal people here, no issues with them. I can't do racism because I'm God. Racism is just a nonsense to me. It doesn't exist. You're all just children to me. No, right? So, this land belongs to the Aboriginals. Wrong. The land belongs to me. It doesn't belong to a group of people that identify as a group with a particular label that differentiates themselves from another group of people on another plot of land somewhere else. No one owns this land. Yeah? Something else that really annoys me is that, and this is particularly with Aboriginal people, it's all the excuses you do for your negative behaviour. It's all the whinging and bitching about the past when the past is done. You need to move on and be now in the present and sort yourselves out from a divine perspective. Yeah? And do this. Because you're no different to anyone else. No one is any different from anyone else. Yeah? Judaism is all about one God. It's an amalgamation of Jewish things and Islamic things. And yet they fight. And the Zionist, Nazi, terrorist Jews want to kill everyone else, which seems wrong to me. Because killing is wrong. And is it unfair of me to say that they are Zionist Nazi Jews? I don't believe so. Because before the turn of the century, I think it was before 1900, there was already moves by a group that identified calling themselves the Zionists, yeah, that were negotiating post after the turn of the century. When we moved forward in time, they negotiated with the Nazis, yeah. And now they do terrorist acts. They just want to kill everyone. And they act in a way that is removed from God because they don't follow God. Yeah? Which again is just stupidity, childish ignorance. When you look at truth. No, I don't want to follow God. I want to follow whatever God made. Well, God made a piece of shit. Go and follow that. In the same way that he made a devil. Yeah? Fuck the devil. Devil before me, nothing, ever before me. That's the way I felt since I was 11, 12, yeah? Nothing. So, and I don't mean to be arrogant, I just feel very passionate in my faith. Yeah, so these, what else? Sovereignty, self-reliant, giving, what else? Faithful, fearless. Because once you become single, love and fear, yeah. Once you become of a single mind in the sense of truth, yeah, the single eye sees good, only good. Even the Zionist Jews that kill people, murderers, rapists, child abusers, they're all loved. The problem is that there is very little sovereignty in the sense of self-control and giving and being faithful and fearless. You're fearful and faithless. Anyway, So when you embrace this, all of this is eradicated. It just isn't. And when you transcend, you pass in this enlightened state. I was blind, now I see. Yeah? When you're in that enlightened state and you mind body, if you're going to go, right, I've had enough, I'm going to go whatever, then your awareness on return is going to be heightened again in the sense of the energetic referencing and awareness, because it's limitless in the sense of what you reference. But returning back to walk in heaven as divine being human is just one down from the reality of being in that moment with nothing. So, talked all around the houses again. That's because I don't know what I'm doing. I just know who I am. I just know what makes me comfortable. Freedom makes me comfortable. That's fine. Sovereignty makes me comfortable. Integrity, personal integrity makes me comfortable. Realisation, Roy, don't do that. That's not very loving, is it? No, it isn't. Stop. I will. Very good. And I carry on different. This is all we have to do, all of us. That's not nice, it's not loving in the moment. Don't. I'll turn my back on that and I'll just do this instead. Next. Yeah, next, 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 next. And just keep going forward and growing in love, awareness. Because this is only love. There is no death, there is no birth. There's just being instantly, according to your imagination. Conceive, create, witness. Love all round, beans. I'll put that link up for Blavatsky and you can watch that when you like, obviously. Love all round, because it is